Hello, everybody. Welcome to Your Capital What's Up. I'm Chuck Wiger, your area state senator. Thank you very much for watching. Today, I'm very pleased to have Oakdale City Council member Kristin Cici. Welcome to our show, Kristin.
Thank you.
And we congratulate you in your new role. I know you're very, very active in a number of activities, whether it's the Oakdale City Council or as a business person, as a mom. You have a full platter, and we're just very pleased you're sharing your talents with the community now.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Good. So we're going to talk about the Oakdale Council and some of the main priorities that you have. But first, let's share with the viewers a little bit more about you. Where were you born?
I was born in Cottage Grove.
Cottage Grove, and a few memories as you grew up in Cottage Grove.
Yeah, my grandfather was mayor in Cottage Grove, Jack Denzer, and so I remember riding in the back of his pickup truck, putting up campaign signs. He also owned a gas station there, so
Jack 76, and I knew Jack Denzer, and wonderful person. And Marlis, grandma who's left us. So you have community involvement in your genes.
Yeah.
The genetic code, so good for you.
Thanks.
And so you grew up in Cottage Grove.
Yep.
Went to Park. What did you like to do growing up?
I volunteered at Regions Hospital in the Burn Center. My aunt is actually one of the head nurses there, so I spent some time there. I played basketball. So I guess I was, somewhat
What
involved
position?
Honestly, it was so long ago. It was, I don't even remember, maybe forward. I don't remember.
But you like playing?
Yeah, it was fun.
And active, and any other activities as you evolved to high school?
I did gymnastics when I was really little, but yeah, other than that, no, just spent a lot of time with family and friends.
Okay, volunteering, and the activities. Brothers or sisters?
Yeah, I have one sister, Jamie. She actually still lives in Cottage Grove right now.
Okay, and you graduated from?
I moved to Wisconsin, and I was there 11th and 12th grade. So I graduated in Amory, Wisconsin, from Amory High School.
Okay, it's a wonderful community as well.
Yeah, very small. The size of Amory is actually the same size of Park High School, so much smaller city.
So you graduated in Amory.
Yep.
And any memory or two of Amory that you'd like to share, whether it's fishing or extracurricular or something else?
Sure, yeah. I would say my Spanish teacher, Senorita Holmes, she really inspired me in my love for learning another language. She actually gave up her free period so that I could take Spanish 5, which wasn't taught at the high school. And so I would say that's probably one of my best memories from high school.
Muy bien.
Sí.
Yeah, Cici, okay. And so you graduate, and what are the next steps?
I went to the University of Minnesota, so I got a bachelor's in psychology.
In the Twin Cities?
Yep, in the Twin Cities. I got a bachelor's in psychology and political science. So I spent...
Why that? Why the university and the political science concentration?
Yeah, University of Minnesota Twin Cities is the only school I applied to in Minnesota. I applied to a couple others outstate, and I really just wanted to, stay close to family, so I decided to go there. And then those areas specifically, political science probably just because I always had an interest in it. Growing up with my grandfather being involved in politics.
Yes. You put up the signs and all that, parades. And
Exactly.
You know the drill.
Yep, and psychology, just because I thought it would be interesting to learn more about how people think and different areas within that. So after that I went and got
Any activities you were involved in college? Yes.
No, I did a variety of different things. I studied abroad in Mexico. I lived with the family for 5 weeks. And
whereabouts?
Then Cuernavaca.
Okay.
And then I studied abroad in France and Paris, and so that was fun. And I've traveled a lot. I did a fair amount of traveling, so yeah, I was pretty involved with
Did you live on campus?
Yes, I lived in a dorm for my freshman year. My sophomore year, I lived on campus in an apartment complex, and then I moved. I graduated in 3 years, so my like junior/senior year, I lived off campus.
Okay, so you're very precocious, highly motivated,
Yes.
talented. You graduate. Mm-hmm. Then what?
Yep. Well, then I went and did a master's degree, the MAPL program that Y. Spano and Marcia Avner started.
Yes.
So I did the master's in advocacy and leadership, and went to that program for 2 years. While I was doing that, I was elected student body president at the U of M. So GAPSA, the Graduate and Professional Student Assembly. So I was still involved in, I guess, student politics there.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, president.
Yeah. So.
And so what are you doing in your spare time with all those activities? Were you doing any part-time job?
Yes.
Or
Yep.
I know what an entrepreneur you are today, so what additional things then were you
Yeah.
doing in addition to studies and being a president for students?
I most of the time when I was in college and during my master's work, during college I was working as a server at Olive Garden and Old Spaghetti Factory.
Yes.
And then during my master's work, I actually worked at the University of Minnesota in development and alumni relations at the College of Biological Sciences.
Okay.
And then I started my businesses and consulting, and from there, that's pretty much all I've done since.
Okay. I guess you met your husband along the way too?
Yes. Yep. I met him at
You
the
had
end.
time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And let's see.
Is that during school?
Yes. 2006, when I was doing my undergrad, I met him through mutual friends.
Okay. So what was the common denominator?
You know, we had a group of friends that were both really good friends with us, so we met through that, hanging out together, and he was very motivated too. He's a structural engineer, so he was very, focused on school, and we both like to travel a lot, so we did a lot of traveling, Egypt and Costa Rica and Africa for our honeymoon, so yeah.
Okay. So you're internationally traveled and multi-language, and you eventually settle in Oakdale, and you're on a city council. How did you arrive at Oakdale?
Sure. Well, we were living in Minneapolis, and when we were ready to kind of move, we had a really small house, and we had our second child, so we were really looking to move. I really wanted to live on the east side of the metro. I mean, that's where I grew up.
Yep.
I was really familiar with, Cottage Grove, Woodbury, Oakdale, those communities. I have a lot of family that live in those areas. And so when I was looking, I was just kind of looking in those areas. And when I found my home in Oakdale, I knew it was the perfect fit. And so that's why I moved there.
And your spouse, his roots are?
He grew up in Maple Grove.
Okay.
So the other end of the Twin
Good to
Cities.
recruit people over here
Yes,
too.
exactly.
Okay. And so you mentioned a second child. And tell us about the kids.
Sure. I have a 5-year-old, Chase. He's in kindergarten. He's going to St. Croix Preparatory Academy in Stillwater. And a daughter, Samantha, who she's going to Tierra and Cantata, one of the businesses I own. It's a Spanish immersion preschool.
Outstanding. And you mentioned one of the businesses you own.
Yeah.
Tell us about your businesses.
Sure.
Entrepreneur.
Sure. So I have 3 businesses. I own
3 businesses.
Yep. I own a Spanish immersion preschool and daycare center in Eagan. We are licensed for 66 children, and so we are focused on immersion, full immersion with Spanish. All of our staff are native Spanish speakers. We serve organic food and use cloth diapers, so it's a really great program for families. And then I own a dog daycare and boarding facility in Roseville. It's called the Wolf Room. And
The Wolf Room.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, and so we serve daycare and boarding. So I know over Thanksgiving we had over 100 dogs there, so it was pretty crazy. And then I also own CC Events, which is an event rental and decor company, and we do like ceiling draping, linen, centerpieces for weddings. We do about 350 to 400 weddings and events a year. So we also do like nonprofit fundraisers, things like that too.
Wow. And you're on the Oakdale City Council.
Yes.
And
yes.
so you are a new member, and what motivated you to serve?
Sure. Well,
What's that path? And I recognize that through the Denzer name and Grandma and Grandpa, their involvement in that, but your time management skills are outstanding. But what's that path that brought you
Sure.
as on the board for
Sure.
the City Council?
Yeah, well, growing up with a political family, I'd always had an interest. When I was in college, I worked on a few campaigns. Actually, Marcia Swales, who was in Woodbury, she was a state representative for a
Yes,
while.
served with her,
Yep.
Education Committee. She was a teacher,
Yep.
is a teacher.
Yep,
Yes.
so I helped with her campaign. I also helped with another, Christian Sandy, who ran for Secretary of State, his
Yes.
campaign. So I had worked on a few campaigns, and then when I moved to when I bought a house in Minneapolis, I was on their Housing Board of Appeals, and so we heard cases where people appealed, issues with housing, room size,
Yes.
can it be a bedroom, things like that. And when I moved to Oakdale, I was looking for a way to get involved, and having a business background, having gone to planning commissions and councils before, my first, inclination was planning commission.
Yes.
So that's where I started in Oakdale. As I served on the planning commission. I really enjoyed that, and I was looking for a way to get more involved with kind of shaping the direction of Oakdale and just being more involved in the community overall.
And share what the Planning Commission does. I mean,
Yeah.
you have a comprehensive plan, and that kind of guides the development, and you have to meet with a lot of people that have proposals
Yep.
for the future, and you need to stay within that plan, but there's variances, et cetera. Tell us about serving on the commission.
Sure. So the Planning Commission, we hear, by and large, the most common thing that comes before the Planning Commission is, homeowners that want to make changes to their home that requires, a small variance. So for example, they want to add, an addition off the back, but they need like a 2-foot variance. They want to go 2 feet closer to the back property line than maybe our code allows. So we hear a lot of things like that. But we also hear, businesses or developments. So for example, a Cardinal Place development, they came before us where
Yes.
they wanted to put in a bunch of like an association type living situation, twin homes in Oakdale, and so they came before us to get approval for that or get a recommendation for approval.
Yes.
And so, or businesses. So we hear a lot of different cases like that, looking at changing zoning or variances, things like
Okay.
that.
And you enjoyed doing that?
Yes.
And again, that's a wonderful preparation to serve on the council. And you did that, and you wanted to do more. And when there became an opening after Stan Kowalski was elected mayor, you made yourself available. The council jumped at that opportunity, and now you're a member. What are your priorities?
Yeah, when I ran for city council, I had kind of a focus of twofold focus.
And I should mention, you did run for city council and almost won, but and then you were appointed because you were the next in line.
Yep, the next highest vote getter. Yeah. So when I ran, I had a focus on businesses, because I feel like one of the ways to improve Oakdale is by attracting, positive, community-friendly businesses to the city, and also just improving kind of the business environment in Oakdale. And so one of the things that I was really interested in doing was incorporating a facade improvement grant for some of the older areas of Oakdale where the business facades maybe could use some sprucing up.
Yes.
West St. Paul has a really great program that does a facade matching improvement grant where the city provides matching funds to improve kind of the facade of a business. And so that was one thing that I really had wanted to see, which we actually are going to do a pilot program of that now. That was one of my goals. But then another focus was just attracting more young families to Oakdale and making it a really great environment for young families to live in.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I heard a lot from people that they wanted to see in Oakdale was like a splash pad. So having that for families. Another interest of mine is having a park that's more accessible for youth, so an accessible park. So those are the two focuses I really had when running was, attracting young families and making it a good environment for young families, and then also small businesses and making it, overall improving the community.
Okay, and the council, the mayor, you all get along well,
Yes,
and you collectively you set the agenda. Are you optimistic for the future?
Yes, yes. I feel very fortunate to be on the Oakdale City Council with, just a really great group of very respectful, polished professionals. I mean, I feel very fortunate about that because they're a really great group, and we all get along really well, and
Yes.
everyone's very respectful, and so I feel very fortunate about that.
Okay. And if people want to contact you about a particular issue, there's a city website that has emails,
Yep.
or they can telephone.
Yep, exactly.
What's your preference?
I don't really mind either way. I mean, email is nice because then, I get emails right to my phone and I can respond right away. So that's nice too, just because then I can respond. But, however people would like to contact me I'm happy to talk to them about any concerns they have.
Wonderful. Any big accomplishment that you'd really like to see happen in the next couple of years? You mentioned, for attracting more youth and the business aspect. Is there any particular project that you want to, ultimately there's priorities,
Yeah.
so much that you can get done, but anything that you might put at the very top for what you're visioning?
It's hard to narrow it down to one. I would say the biggest things I'd like to see is, one, Oakdale's website kind of revamped,
Okay.
because I want it to be really easy for our residents to navigate businesses,
Yes.
everything. Two, the splash pad. I feel like that's a great component to have for families.
Okay.
Three, I'd also like to see a dog park in Oakdale.
Okay.
A lot of our residents have dogs.
They definitely do.
It's a really inexpensive in the scheme of Parks and Recs budget and thing for us to do. And then also the small business facade improvement grant, just so we can help spruce up some of those older areas of Oakdale where the businesses could have that assistance to improve their facades.
Great. Well, you're focused. You have a very impressive background, and Kristin, I want to congratulate you on your wonderful accomplishments.
Thank you.
And we're almost out of time, but any concluding words you'd like to share with our viewers?
I really feel honored to serve the city of Oakdale, and I've really enjoyed, the time I've had so far, and I'm really just looking forward to continuing it. So thank you, and thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much, Kristin. And viewers, I encourage you to contact her. She'll give you great service. And if you have a question of me, please give me a call. My cell phone is 651-770-0283. With Oakdale City Council member Kristin Cici, I'm Chuck Wiger. Thank you very much for watching.